Call to the honourable member for Clark.
Speaker, my question is to the Housing Minister. Minister, in 2023, National Cabinet agreed on 9 reforms under the Better Deal for Renters. However, both National Shelter and the Tenants' Union note that in Tasmania the state government is currently not pursuing 6 of the 9 agreed reforms. So, Minister, why is the Tasmanian government being allowed to slow-walk these agreed reforms, and will the federal government finally inject some urgency into nationally consistent protections for renters?
Give the call to the Minister for Housing and the Minister for Homelessness.
Thanks, Speaker, and I really want to thank the member for Clark for his question about subjects that we have a really shared passion for, and that is the situation faced by renters across our country right now. I know that the member will be meeting with his constituents, as I do, not necessarily young renters, but renters who are middle-aged, who've got children of their own, and who are living in that precarious situation where they're getting moved from property to property and sometimes having to move their kids from school to school. So this is something that I don't want to see, and people sometimes ask me in this job what gets me out of bed in the morning. One of them is this. If we go back to around the year I was born, 60% of young low-income people across our country own their own home. Today that number is 20%. So this tells us that we've got not only a long-term issue with housing in our country, but that just because of housing, the experience of low-income people across Australia is very different to how it was 40 years ago. So, Speaker, the implicit in the member's question, I think, is an acknowledgement that these really important issues of the rights of renters sit at the state level. Almost all previous governments have basically said we want nothing to do with this problem, but that's not been the case with our government. The Prime Minister, of course, has placed housing at the very heart of our government's agenda, and so instead of ignoring this problem, has sat down with the states, has made an agreement, the National Housing Accord, and part of that agreement is asking all the states to sign up to these really important new rental standards. So it's things like ending no-fault evictions, banning rent bidding, limiting excessive rent increases and ensuring minimum standards for rental accommodation. So the member asked about the performance of the Tasmanian government. Each of the states reports into me in their progress, and the last report I received was December 2024. Tasmania reported that they are complete on 7 of 9 of their requirements, and 2 of 9 are in progress. So I see you shaking your head there. The national shelter numbers are from a few months earlier, and I think that probably explains the discrepancy. But if the member doesn't mind, I'd really appreciate the opportunity to sit down with him and go through the report, and I'm very happy to work with him to push the Tasmanian government to move faster. I can tell you, no one wants the states to move faster on this than me. It's part of a really important part of the government's urgent housing agenda, and I thank him for his question.